I call the member for Jagga Jagga.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Well, I begin tonight by acknowledging that I am speaking from the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations, and I pay my respects to their elders, past, present and emerging. I also acknowledge that the chamber where you are is on the land of the Ngunnawal and the Ngambri people, and again pay my respects to those owners and custodians of the land. Deputy Speaker, when Prime Minister Kevin Rudd delivered the national apology to the stolen generations in February 2008, he made it clear that saying sorry wasn't enough, and it's still not. There is no more important task in front of this Parliament than closing the gap. Even in the middle of a pandemic, this is the greatest challenge facing this nation, and it is one that we must bring a new approach, new ideas, and new commitment to. I want to commend the work done by the Coalition of Peaks, led by Pat Turner, to get us to this point with this refreshed Closing the Gap. We do have to realise that Aboriginal people and Aboriginal communities are in the best place to know what's needed to change and how to deliver that change. We have to have an approach that's not just set here in Canberra, and we can't expect one approach to work in communities across the country. We must be prepared to do things differently, and that's why I'm very proud to be part of a Labor team that is committed to genuine change. And that must start with acting on the Uluru Statement from the heart. The statement that First Nations people went to so much time and effort to put together to tell us what they wanted for themselves, to have a voice to Parliament that's recognised in our Constitution. And we do all know that changing Australia's Constitution isn't easy. It shouldn't be undertaken lightly, but this is a process that has been going for many years now, and it has not been undertaken lightly. We are at a turning point, and it will require passion and dedication from all of us in this chamber and outside to succeed, and we must succeed, to go through a process of truth-telling and treaty-making, so that on the other side, we emerge as a stronger, fairer country. And I'm proud that a future Labor government is committed to establishing a Makarrata Commission as a matter of priority. We have to tell a different story about this country. We have to reckon with our past so that we can close the gap for the future. I'm proud that a Labor government, a future Labor government, is committed to strengthening economic and job opportunities for First Nations people and communities. Employment outcomes is, of course, interconnected to other quality of life outcomes such as health, education and housing. I'm proud that a future Labor government will recognise that First Nations people have authority, knowledge and experience derived from so many millennia of custodianship over their land and their water, and that we will recognise that through doubling the number of Indigenous rangers to 3,800 jobs by the end of the decade. I've seen firsthand just how powerful that program is in so many communities, and I know what a difference rolling that program out more broadly will be. Deputy Speaker, for 8 years, this coalition government has shifted the responsibility for progress on closing the gaps to the states and territories. It's not good enough. This government has clearly walked away from having a voice to Parliament. Not good enough. We have seen an absolute lack of action from the government, even though we know there are members on their own side who support having a voice to Parliament. They're captured by the voices who say it's too hard. It is not too hard. It is the job of all of us in this place to act on the Uluru Statement from the heart. I do welcome the reparations for the stolen generation, which were announced by the Prime Minister. I acknowledge that it is too late for too many survivors who have already passed away. And we must understand that there are ongoing issues, ongoing problems and intergenerational trauma, and that is felt not just by individual people, but by whole families and whole communities. And as a nation, we must dedicate ourselves to addressing that. Deputy Speaker, as I said, there is no more important challenge in front of this community. Knowing that only 3 out of the 17 targets are on track must commit all of us to doing better. We must take a new approach. We must work together, we must listen to Indigenous people, and we must lift the quality of life for all First Nations people and for future generations across our country. Thank you.
I thank the member for Jaga Jaga and I call the member for Fenner.